Welcome to Chat Cinema. Today I'm talking to Golden
Thank
Palm
you.
winner Nebojsa Slijepcevic. He won for his short film at Cannes in 2024, and we're going to talk about The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. Oh, wow. All right, let's get started. It's a deep film, deep short film. You revisited a very dark period in your region's history with this movie, and you wrote and directed the story. What attracted you to this material?
Well, the film is based on a true event that
Right.
took place 30 years ago, and there was a civilian train going from Belgrade in Serbia to Bar in Montenegro, but it was stopped by Serbian paramilitary forces who started taking off the train the passengers, civilian passengers who had Muslim names. It was part of ethnical cleansing operation that was Such operations, unfortunately, was not so rare in 90s in ex-Yugoslavia.
Oh, wow.
And all the passengers, the other passengers, did not dare to speak anything except one person, Tomo Buzov, who tried to protect one young person who was in a uh, 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 who was being taken out by the soldiers. He protected him, but he lost his life as well. So this story was largely forgotten, and Tomo Buzov, who is real hero in my view, because he was completely unarmed. He was a man in his 50s who was he was retired at the time. He was a retired army officer, and he just could not look at the situation when the innocent civilians are taken off the train, and he spoke up. It did not it ended tragically for him, but still his act is for me very inspiring, and I think worth remembering 30 years later. But there is one other thing, although this film happens 30 years ago, for me it's not a history lesson. It made me think what I would do if I was
Mm.
in this train, if I was a passenger
Right.
in this train, and if I start witnessing such a situation. And I can also think of the situations in my life which are not that extreme, or for sure, but when I witnessed some injustice, or some violence, and when I was put in situation to see, when I was tested in a way, and
Right.
I'm afraid I failed this test, as most of us do in the end, and that's why I wanted to make this film, to see when we stop being witnesses and when we become accomplices in the crime.
Well, it segues into my next question because do you think we judge the people on the train too harshly? Because I don't know what I would do if, someone's pointing a machine gun at me or multiple people pointing machine guns at me. I have no clue. I mean, one time I was in Brazil and I had a little incident with three men with pistols and it was a bit frightening. So I can imagine a whole
Yes.
group of people.
Oh, of course, I'm not judging anyone, and I think when you watch the film, I think we are actually understand the silent witnesses very well. I have deep understanding for everybody who stays silent, but at the same time, I cannot stop asking myself, could we do something differently? My opinion, I don't want to give anybody lessons, this is not my position, but my opinion is that of course we cannot only count on sole heroes. Maybe if many of us would react, if many people in train would react at the same time, maybe the story would have different ending.
Mm, mm. Very, very true. Now, let me ask you this. You confined yourself to the train, the shooting of the train. That must have been really, really hard. And I noticed the camera angles you were using. So tell us about that. That was a very
Yeah.
hard approach, especially for a short film.
Yes, but it was a challenge in a good way as well. I like challenges, and the whole film takes place inside the train, and the old one, the one with compartments, and with a very narrow corridor that goes on the one side of the train. And this corridor was so narrow that it barely fitted the camera with the lens, So, and at the same time, I really wanted to have a sense of fluidity in the film, that you feel that you can move in this train, and that camera moves through the corridor, and also this train should feel packed as well, so we put a lot of extras inside, so it was really, really tight, but we planned it very well. We rehearsed it. I made a very precise storyboard, and rehearsed it without actors for several months before shooting, So when we came to I first filmed the whole film with my cell phone. Then I brought my own camera
You're
on the set,
kidding.
Yeah, and then I did it only with stand-ins. I would take parts of production team and ask them, to walk as the actors will do, and said, now you walk out of the compartment and walk through the corridor, look through the window, and then I would frame it with my camera, and then in the end, in the last days of rehearsals, we brought the real actors. We brought Alexa camera, big camera with a big lens, dolly, everything. So we had like in theater, we had the day before shooting, we had general rehearsal with everything, with all the actors, with costumes, with everything, and then the next day we shot the film. We started
Ah,
shooting.
okay, yeah, because I was curious about that. 'Cause I thought, but this is not a set. I think this is an actual
No.
train somewhere, right?
It's actual train and moving train at parts of the film as well,
Right.
which made it even more complicated because we had to coordinate the train and the extras outside of train and the actors and extras inside the train. So it was quite complicated, but also, it was fun as much as you can have fun when you make such a grim topic, film about such a horrible crime.
Yeah, well, I don't want to give the plot away. Okay.
Yeah,
Were you surprised you won at Cannes, and have you been surprised by the reception
of
of the
course.
film?
Of course, I was surprised. I don't think that there is a single director in the world who can expect to win at Cannes, And I was, I would say, outsider coming from a small cinematography from small country as Croatia, which is not like, a big cinema country, and also I used for the biggest part of my career until now, I made a documentary. So I
Yeah.
made only a couple of fiction films. Was like more like testing the waters, and trying to do something new. And to go such a long way to be first, when we got accepted to Cannes, I couldn't believe it, really. It was it can't get better than that. And then on the night of the awards, when they called my name, it was completely crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, back to the film. I was a bit, I'm not going to say confused, a bit startled because the person who spoke up wasn't the person I thought who was going to speak up. Now, how did you come up with that little plot twist?
Well, that was the idea from the very, I would say, very first talk that my producer and me had about how to make this film. And we decided actually to turn the camera to the witnesses of the crime, and also to mislead the audience a little bit, so they don't know who will be the hero and who will just stay silent in the end. And I think it's the whole point, because I think us as well, we don't know who we are until we get tested in extreme situation. And our one character that we follow, he is really a good man, and he's really wants to act, he wants to intervene, but then at the very moment when he needs to act, he gets frightened, and he gets frozen by fear. And that's just happens, it happened to me in the past, in some situations that I think I will do something and then I get frozen, and you don't know until that moment how you will react.
Um, I don't want to give away the plot. The
Yes.
person who, I don't want to, trying to figure out
I
how
know
to
it's hard
word
to
it.
talk about this film
Yeah,
without saying too much, because it's so short, and it's
yeah.
yeah.
All right, so what are you working on next there? Because
Yeah. Let's
what's
skip
the
the whole
next project? Let's
conversation.
just get that as part of the conversation there. You guys have to
Yeah.
watch the 12, 15-minute film. What's your next project?
Well, now I'm developing the feature fiction, because this is also something that I wanted to do for a long time, and now it seems that it will be a little easier than it was like 6 months ago. So I'm adapting a book by a very famous, although not that old, young, rather young Croatian author. And this book is extremely interesting to me. It deals with a middle-aged man who had a horrible trauma in his childhood, and he forgot his whole childhood. And now in his 30s or early 40s, he tries to dig up in his subconscious to find out what really happened to him when he was a child.
Oh,
He's
it sounds
going
bright.
back to, yeah, so it's fantastic book, but I also it's very risky to adapt the books, and especially the books you love,
Mm.
because very often, when you watch a film that's adapted book, you say, but the book was better. So, but I think I can bring something new to the table with this specific novel, because I feel it very personal. I'm father now, and I have a 7-year-old boy, and to try to get into the child's head, it's very, it's something that's very interesting as a topic to me. When you're a child, how you're formed by situations about yourself, by event that you witness.
Oh, how long do you think, when do you think it will come out, or when do you think you'll start production on it?
Well, it's hard to project now, because it's always I can say something, and then probably the life will prove me wrong. But we hope to yeah. But we are working hard on it, and we hope that in not next year, but 2026, maybe we can start with production. That means like in 2 years that we can have film done. Maybe. So that's like optimistic, but I think there is a very good energy around the project now, and I have a fantastic team. The same team that worked on this short film will
Well,
continue. Hopefully,
right.
so most of us will go to the next venture together. So,
No, congratulations on that. And good job on your short film. Okay, once again, The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. Hopefully we'll see you at the Academy Awards this year.
yeah, well, it would be again unbelievable. There are so many good films, competing for Academy Awards, but we also are not now such outsiders, because with Palme d'Or we can hope that people will watch the film. That's my first goal, that people watch the film, and then if they like the film, they will vote for it, and if not, yeah, that's fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
you have a
there's
golden
nobody.
palm.
It will happen. What will happen? But for me, the most important is, and the best thing with the awards is that the film travels a lot, and that
Yeah.
many people see the film, and that's why we make films, to for people to watch them, not for the awards. Awards help with reaching the audience. That's all.
Well, like I said before, you created quite a stir with this one. Good job.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you
it
so
was
much.
crazy. Thank you for having. Thank you.